Hey everyone, welcome back to the Infatuasian podcast, a special on-location recording, sort of. We're faking it till we make it. So anyway, long story, we flew out to New York, the family and I, we were having a good time. We took the train all the way out, took the subway all the way out to Flushing, Queens, met up with Lingjie, hit record, but for some reason, it didn't record.
You think you hit record. I'm not sure if, you talk about this sometimes. You have a lot of technical issues for a person that's been doing this for nearly 3 years.
And it's 100% human error.
Yes.
I want to blame the equipment, but it's weird because I have half of the recording. So halfway through this recording, it's going to go to Flushing, Queens live.
Okay, so we're going to fill in the gap for the first maybe 15, 20 minutes or so when I actually met you for the first time in person.
Yeah, and it was a glorious meeting. It was a little bit of a rainy day, but it was cool. It was cool to meet someone that, Lingjie and I have been talking for 2.5 years now of just doing podcasting together, and we've done multiple episodes together, but we had never met face-to-face. But it's weird, and Ben said this too, when you meet face-to-face, it really felt like we were like old friends meeting up from college or something.
It felt in no way different. It's the same way when I see my close friends that maybe I only see once every couple months or so when you get together for a gathering because everyone's so busy. It was literally the exact same thing. To Ben's point, it felt no different than just seeing someone that you're close with, but you just haven't physically seen them for a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool. It was cool. So I've met a bunch of, so we have this little podcast group. Well, it's sort of, our group is kind of falling apart.
Everyone's busy and life gets hard. Podcasting itself gets hard.
And we're on like 7 different continents too. So
yes. Different time zones, different everything.
It's rough. But yeah, it's super fun. So we met up and I was thinking, well, since I'm in New York, got to go to Flushing, right? Got to visit the food. And what better way to experience Flushing than to go with a native, go with someone who's born and raised there. Well, not born and raised there, raised there, grew up there.
Since I was 6 years old.
6 years old. And so Lingjie gave us an amazing food tour. So this episode is going to be us trying different foods, but we are a month later now. We are several weeks after the fact, but we're going to recreate the first part of it. And then halfway through this recording, I think we're gonna be able to use the recording that we made that day.
Right. So in theory, this should pick back up when we get to our second location at some point in the second location.
Yeah. So hopefully you remember the locations. So we met up at, what was it called? The rice roll place.
It was Joe's Steamed Rice Rolls.
Yes. Yeah. So we met up at Joe's Steamed Rice Roll on what Ave were we there? What?
Roosevelt Avenue. It's on Roosevelt Avenue between Main Street, which is right where the 7 train is, and Union Street. Yeah. Closer to Main Street on Roosevelt.
It was right there. So we got off the subway. We walked about a block and a half or
yes.
less.
And you were also very punctual in our meeting as well. Do you want to elaborate, Curtis?
Well, okay. Well, so I got on the train. We left the hotel. So we were staying near Times Square, so Midtown Manhattan. And according to Google, it said it would take us like 30 minutes or something like that. It's whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so we were supposed to meet at like 10 a.m. And so we left our hotel maybe like 9:15. So I texted Lingjie and I said, hey, we might even be there early.
Yeah. So then I got my butt out because I usually prefer to be the person that is either on time or first. Definitely on time. On time is my latest, but usually I'm there early. So when Curtis said he was going to be there early, I didn't want to keep him and his family waiting, so I left a couple minutes early as well.
So here's what happened. I think this is what happened. So where we were staying was like near 7th and 49th, like right near Rockefeller Center. And there are several subway lines that you can take to hit the 7 train.
Yeah, to connect with the 7 train.
So I think we were supposed to take the R, but we might have got on the 1. I don't know which one. We went downtown. We went the right direction, but instead, so then we got off at Times Square, and you know how Times Square you can walk for like a mile underground?
Yeah, you could, because it connects to
but we got a little
turnaround.
Yeah, but so I was trying to get over to the 7 train. We got a little turnaround. So anyway, we missed a train or two. So anyway, we got there at 10 o'clock, but I had teased Lingjie that I would get there early. So we got there about 10:05 or something like that. But anyway, it was a glorious meetup. It was fun. And we were at Joe's Steamed Rice Roll, which for those out there who don't know, in Cantonese is a Cherng Fun.
Yep.
Like a thin. They take like a batter. What do they do? Take some rice flour.
It's basically rice flour and water is the main components. Maybe there's some spices or seasoning in it. Maybe not even, but that's the main thing. And when you see Cherng Fun, you're not necessarily thinking of the ones that you would see at dim sum. That's like the smaller rolled ones.
Yeah,
this is a giant sheet. If I had to guess the size of the sheet, I would say it's maybe 2 feet by 2 feet. Something like that, right?
Maybe a little smaller, but yeah, good size square.
Yeah. 18 by 18. So it's much larger than the ones you see at your traditional dim sum place. And they would pour the batter on into this large tray. They would put your ingredients onto and then slide it into the steaming device that steams the whole thing until it's done.
Yeah.
They'd slide it back out and then they take these large spatulas sort of and they kind of scrape it into a circle that resembles close to what you see when you have it at dim sum.
Yeah. So it's almost like if you ever gotten a Cold Stone or something, it's almost like that where they take
it's the same idea.
They roll up the steam roll, and here's the thing though, is that at the place that we went to, they had at least half a dozen options, for fillings, and so the basic one you might get is a little char siu or a little shrimp, but we ordered a couple ones. We ordered like Joe's Special, which had like lobster,
all the proteins.
Yeah. It had a lot of stuff in it. And that one was good. That one was super good. And you put a little soy sauce on it. And
of course.
It's good. And what else we got? We got the basic shrimp.
We got the shrimp one, which was a basic one that didn't have an egg. The first one that you mentioned did have an egg. It was essentially all the proteins possible.
Yeah.
And then the second one was a more simple one, was just shrimp and maybe one vegetable. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then the last one was something with spicy curry fish balls. That one I would not recommend because it was essentially regular style, like Hong Kong style curry fish balls, but just thrown on top of Cherng Fun.
Yeah. I mean, it had the flavor. And they're big too. Okay, so this is where Lingjie's going to roast us a little bit. So me and my family of 4, he's thinking we got to order at least 3 of these things.
Yeah, 3 different flavors, of course. So I'm not sure if you mentioned this at the beginning, but the plan was for me and Curtis to meet up with the family, him coming to Flushing for essentially the first time, and I was going to take him around to different places, do like a sort of mini food crawl.
Yeah.
And we were starting at 10 a.m. in the morning, so I figured we'd do small portions here and there at maybe 4 to 6 different places, wrap it up with dessert or something at the end. But you guys have a surprisingly small appetite.
We tapped out, yeah. we embarrassed ourselves a little bit. So Lingjie ordered 3 rolls, which honestly filled us up pretty good.
I know you, and we didn't even finish all 3 things.
We had to bring leftovers. Yeah, and they weren't bad. They were like $5 each or something, $7.
I think they were around $7 for the $7 to $9 for the large. Each one varied a little bit. The first one with all the proteins was a little bit more, but the shrimp one didn't have much in it. I think that was $7. The curry fish one was also $7. Yeah. And you were saying how that was relatively cheap for us compared to some of the stuff you've seen in San Francisco.
Yeah. No, we have it in San Francisco, but the specialty places that's all they do. Yeah, I think they run double digits at least.
Yeah, which is crazy because this is sort of like a cheap eats kind of thing. And I know sometimes Ben always says that I play people to the places that's both good and cheap. Yeah. Mainly I'm looking for value, but I feel I wouldn't pay in the teens for what we had. Yeah. Paying $7 to $9 seemed like a very fair price.
Yeah, no, that's a good deal. I think that's the one major edge that Flushing has over probably anywhere else in the world is, well, maybe except for like Hong Kong and Taiwan. Yeah. But in the States or any of the Chinatowns in the States, the thing that Flushing has as an advantage is the competition. There's so many choices in such a small
area. The density is there. Yeah. It is insane how much we pack into. I know it's probably only 3-block radius. So if you go like in a 3-block radius, that's essentially where most of the stuff is. But even within 3 blocks, it's so dense. It's so dense. So just as a matter of business, everyone has to compete. Yeah. And you compete both on price and, of course, sometimes the more important thing for a lot of people now, especially for a minority neighborhood, is the price, right? You want to get something that's reasonably priced and hopefully tastes pretty good as well.
Yeah. So I think we could get something pretty similar on terms of taste and quality in San Francisco Bay Area, But yeah, we're paying double digits because there's only 1 or 2 shops within 10 miles. So
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is the competition in Flushing is so fierce that these guys they have to compete with quality and price to get business. So
Plus, just as a side note, it's tough for me when people come over to Flushing and they want to try different things because we have so many things.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm with a very weak family with such a small appetite, I already thought
you just
I had
call my
cut
whole
it
family
down.
weak.
Weak appetite, very, very weak. I had already cut it down to a few options. And then through the course of that morning, we had to cut it down further as you guys are slowing down. So I know we'll eventually cut to the second place. But by the time we got to the second place, I ordered only one order. And initially, I wanted to get both the pork and the shrimp. But we'll see that later.
And for the record, Lingjie, with his bags of money, flexed on us and did buy the rice rolls for us. So we appreciate that. The Infatuasian podcast appreciates that.
Yes,
so.
my generous $28 purchase.
Can you write that off? Is a podcast expense?
Is it podcasting? I probably could.
Yeah. So now that we mentioned it on a podcast, I think it's a business.
It's official business. So we were doing the rating thing. I'm not sure if we did that for the other places. I know you definitely don't have your rating for this first place, but 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, whatever your scale was that you used, what did you give this place? And then later, I want to find out what your family thought of it as well.
Yeah, no, so let's do a 10-point scale. Yeah, I mean, and I love value too, so I would give it an extra. So I'll give it like 9 out of 10 just for taste and flavor, but I'll give it extra half star for the price too.
for value, that's what bumps it up.
I'll give you 9.5 on that one. No, that's solid. Wow. I would definitely go back if this was a mile from my house. I'd be there. I'd definitely be there more often
because it is very filling. Just one single order by yourself, I think I would take one and be pretty satiated.
Yeah, and on the day that we went, kind of rainy, a little overcast. Perfect. It was perfect for the day that we went.
Yeah. And how did your family enjoy it? The Cherng Fun?
They did, yeah. I think we'll mention this. We have one picky daughter, and then one daughter who eats everything. And so, of course, the picky daughter didn't try it, but my wife and my other daughter who eats everything, they love Cherng Fun. So they were in heaven. Yeah, that's why they filled up, I think, because they couldn't stop eating it. So yeah, really, really good. So thanks for that pick. And then so in between locations, so we had to walk. I don't know, not even that far, but 2 blocks up.
We literally walked across the street.
Okay. Yeah.
You forgot already?
I felt like we walked further, but no, it was really close.
So from location 1, the Cherng Fun, to the second location, which somewhere you'll splice in the audio. Somewhere. It was across the street, not even diagonally. It was vertically right across the street and then into a mall. New World Mall. So people that are from Flushing know that New World Mall has a very famous food court on the lower level of the mall. The first floor is a grocery store plus some jewelry shops, and then there's some other restaurants and small stores on the second floors and above. But the basement of that, the New World Food Court, is maybe the most well-known, not necessarily the best, but the most well-known Chinese food court in Flushing.
Yeah, no, that place had... I want to say at least 15 different stalls, or
probably more.
Yeah,
20 plus, I would say.
Yeah, no, that was great because I've been to those in LA, in their Chinese areas, and they're similar in terms of size. But yeah, it was good. It looked good. There's a lot of things to try. We only tried one thing down there, but we could have easily made a whole meal, to multiple meals down there. Yeah, it was really good. So in that one block, in that 150 feet that we walked to get there, we did
which
some
felt like 2
facts.
blocks to you.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just because we were doing our Flushing facts. It made it seem like it was further. Mm-hmm. So this is a good test of your memory because I gave you the answers already on the actual show that we recorded that didn't turn out. But do you remember what Flushing is named after?
Oh, see. My memory is horrible, so this is almost as if you're asking me this question for the first time. So things turned out pretty well. I actually do not remember what it was named after. Was it something Dutch?
I gotta fact check this myself. I think this is a Wikipedia thing. It's named after a Dutch city because I guess New Amsterdam was a Dutch territory at one point. So that area was called Flushing is named after a Dutch word Vlissingen.
Vlissingen.
Vlissingn. So I don't know how you get Flushing out of Vlissingen.
Vlissingen. Is the meaning similar to what Flushing might mean in English?
I have no idea.
No idea, right?
Yeah. Anyway, it stuck. So you're called Flushing today. Kind of a funny sound if you think about it. Flushing. Something you do to the toilet, you're right. So.
Well, the one thing that I remember is The Simpsons, the cartoon, when Homer and his family visited New York and they went to Flushing Meadows Corona Park, and he was either high or stoned or something happened, and then he saw toilets running around as they were running through Flushing Meadows Corona Park. So that's one of the few references to my own town from a major TV / movie thing that I saw. Yeah, pop culture.
So yeah, it was definitely agricultural for a long, long time. Became part of. Do you know the date that it became part of New York City?
Part of New York City? Huh? No. Wouldn't it just be part of Queens, or do you mean when it became part of Queens?
Maybe
and then by
when
default became
one of the 5 boroughs. I don't know. So according to this source, whatever it was, 1898 became part of New York City.
Okay, that somehow seems a little bit late, but sure.
Well, yeah, it's so far out there. Maybe Queens was first, but then Flushing wasn't even part of Queens yet.
It might be possible, yeah, that Queens was a little bit further west, and then they branched out east, and then included Flushing at some point. That kind of makes sense, because Flushing and then Bayside, which is further east of us, is basically the edge before you get into what we call Long Island, and we don't deem as part of the city. So I forgot to ask you this during the thing, but what was your first impression of Flushing when you got into Flushing? Because I know your wife and I were talking about it throughout the course of the day. Yeah. And I don't think I said it on mic, but I just want to repeat what she said. She said the feeling of Flushing, even the smells, she said it in a very positive way, the smells of Flushing, as soon as she walked in, and more so as she walked around town during that morning, made her feel very homey. And then one of your daughters said it smelled like your grandparents' house.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's a compliment, I guess.
That was a compliment. She said that as a compliment.
Yeah. I've been to Flushing before, and so I have vague, it was like 20 years ago, but I have vague memories of it, and it hasn't changed a whole lot except for it's gotten more shops. It was a little more sparse 20 years ago. But yeah, no, it feels like, because I've been to a bunch of different Chinese cities, Hong Kong, Taipei, and Shanghai. I mean, it feels like a Chinese city, to be honest. It feels like you're in almost another country, or, a really dense Chinatown or Chinese region of a city. It's very urban, tons of people.
Tons. And this was on what I told you that day. If it was a less busy day, partially because it was a weekday morning and because of the weather. Yeah. So, but it's always happening. It's busy. Lots of little shops, lots of kind of random shops, like a flower shop that also sells tofu pho. Yeah. Do you have that on mic? I think we do. I think we do. We visited that shop. That was one of our last stops. But yeah, a lot of little random stores, random claw game stores, malls, bigger, malls with more than one store in it, as well as just standalone shops. Really fun. I highly recommend if you go to New York City, and Manhattan's great. It is what it is, right? You get that city feel. But if you want kind of a different New York experience, definitely spend a day in Flushing. I think you can easily spend a day. At the very least, come here for either a lunch/dinner or a breakfast/lunch kind of thing. And you can do like a mini food crawl, because I would say most of the restaurants are not sit-down restaurants, so you don't necessarily have to sit there and have your entire stomach filled at one place. Right. You really could go store to store and buy a small thing and share it, especially if you're with a family. So like you said, I highly recommend coming to Flushing, even if it's just for 1 or 2 meals in a single day. Yeah, no, perfect. Because there's not a lot of tourist stuff to do. Like, there's not a lot of things to see, per se. But if you want to eat and just hang out at a mall and just play some claw games, maybe do a little shopping. There was a Miniso store. There's probably a Daiso, but there's a bunch of stuff. There was an H Mart. I think there was an H Mart there, right? Where were we? There is not an H Mart directly in this area. Yeah, that's a little bit further out. But it is a good mix of modern and new, more big name, big shops and also like a good mixture of small mom and pop shops too.
Yeah.
It's really got a little bit of everything, except for, like you said, there are no sights to be seen here.
Yeah. Now, we were there in the morning, but like nightlife, there's karaoke, there's bars.
Karaoke, bars, most of the restaurants stay open very late, even if half the restaurants close. That, given the density of all the restaurants, that's still a lot of restaurants that are still open. So no matter what time of the day, something will be open for you.
Okay. Now, we were in mostly a Chinese area that I could tell. Is there a Korean area as well?
Yeah, so the second Koreatown, which is a little bit further east of Flushing, when you get into like the Bayside area, so the border of Flushing to Bayside, maybe even eastern Flushing, gets very, very Korean. That's what we dub the second Koreatown. The first Koreatown obviously is in Manhattan around 34th Street. That's K-Town. That's what everyone knows as K-Town in New York City. But the second more, I would say, rural Koreatown is in this area as well. And it's a quick bus ride away. Or if you have a car in Flushing, it's like a quick 5 to 10 minute drive.
Okay, so not right off the subway, though.
Not right off the subway, no. Although in the middle of Main Street, Flushing, there are a bunch of Korean restaurants as well. So it's not 100% Chinese. There are a bunch of Korean restaurants in that area as well.
Okay, and that's where you can get your haircut from Ben's mom?
Yes, Ben's mom. Oh, we should have gone to the salon. I didn't even think about that.
Is it right there?
It's basically a block and a half from the first place we were at.
Okay, well, that's another running joke that I don't know if we'll get on tape. But so I messaged Lingjie. I was like, hey, we're coming in. Morning would be good because we had a dinner reservation at like 5 something. So we need to get back to the city. So I was like, let's do it in the morning so we can eat early because I don't want to be stuffed for my dinner thing. So I was like, let's do 10. Any chance Ben shows up? And Lingjie said, there is a 0.0 chance.
Nada.
That you're going to see Ben. And I was like, you know what? I have faith in my guy. I messaged Ben separately. I was like, Ben, I'm coming. You're gonna show up, right? He's like, He goes, what time are you coming? I said, from about 10 to 12 or maybe even 1.
Yeah.
And he replied back, only 1?
Like I said, I was playing that day without Ben in mind because I knew for the most part he was not going to show up.
I was hopeful. But another blooper for this reel is I actually did meet up with Ben. I have photographic proof.
Yep.
That we met up. I didn't record him because I forgot I had so many errors on this recording. But anyway, we did meet up with Ben. Got to see him, and he said the same thing, that when I met up with him, it felt like talking to an old friend.
Yeah.
And it was
feels
really
natural.
Cool.
Yeah, that's good. It's like a pen pal, only like a modern day pen pal. Because we've seen each other on video. We've talked like this before. So.
Yeah, like dozens of times. Yeah. And we text. I don't know if we text every day, but we message each other a couple times.
Very often. Yeah. So from the first place to the second place, you gave me the trivia that I just forgot and we redid.
I think.
And then
I might have given you this other one too. You want to guess? According to the 2022 survey, there are about 246,000 people that live in Flushing.
Yes.
What percentage of those people are Asian?
My initial guess was 60% that day. I forgot if I was wrong or right.
You were pretty close. I think it's 69.
Okay.
Which is a lot.
It is a lot, yeah. That's 70% of all the people here.
In Flushing. So that's a big area, too. So 245,000. The city that I live in is just south of San Francisco. We only have 100,000. So, yes, more than 2.5 times bigger where I live. And so 70% Asian, about 9.5% white, 14% Hispanic.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw a few folks.
Yep.
And then 4.2% black. But yes, heavily Asian. If you live in Flushing, there's a 7 out of 10 chance you're Asian.
Yeah. You are the majority when you live in Flushing.
And then you want to guess the age breakdown.
I think that day I had said it was more older people.
Yeah.
I think it was I had thought there was a higher percentage of older Asian people as opposed to a younger amount.
It's actually fairly even. So over 65, 18%.
Okay.
So that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then between 45 and 64, my personal demographic, 30%. So my age group is the majority.
Yeah, that makes sense.
45, middle age, maybe we have teenagers, that kind of age group, yeah. And then your group, the millennials, 25 to 44 is 22%.
Okay, that actually makes some amount of sense because I know Flushing Chinatown compared to Manhattan Chinatown is a little bit different with the demographic. Manhattan's Chinatown is getting older as we speak,
Much older,
as the younger crowd of people have been growing up and moving out of Manhattan's Chinatown. The amount of older people staying in there, so they've become the majority now. Flushing, on the other hand, because actually, I'm not even sure what the reason is, but there are enough younger people still willing to buy real estate and live in this area that the demographics aren't as skewed towards older people as they are in Manhattan's Chinatown.
Now, with our Chinatown, a lot of times when people get older, so let's say you grow up as a kid in our Chinatown, most of them seem to want to move out and not stay in Chinatown. Is that true in Manhattan Chinatown as well as Flushing?
Manhattan Chinatown for sure. I've spoken with Vic Lee from Welcome to Chinatown. That's a non-for-profit company that works specifically in Manhattan's Chinatown, and that's the main problem that they have. As younger people from this current and past generation grow up, part of what's quote unquote moving on up is moving out of Chinatown. A sign that you've made it is that you no longer live in Manhattan's Chinatown. Here, Flushing, it might be a little bit different because we do have a lot of new construction. There is a surplus of apartments and high-rises being built here, so it does still attract a semi-younger crowd to want to move into Flushing. So you can make it and still buy real estate in Flushing and live here. And sometimes I would even say if you're buying real estate in Flushing, that is kind of a sign that you've made it because prices are increasing. So if you theoretically can afford to stay in Flushing, that kind of means you're doing fairly well in your career now.
Yeah. Do the majority of people your age that you grew up with work in the city, though?
Yeah, everyone for the most part works in the other boroughs, and then they will try to live here. I know for those that are kidless, that don't have kids or married or not, they tend to live closer to work. Sometimes that means in Brooklyn, sometimes that means in the city. And then most people that I know that settle down eventually will either live in Flushing or then move further east to Long Island, which is the suburbs.
Mm-hmm. Now you're in like a single family residence, right? Like you can buy a house in Flushing. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the rest of New York, well, yeah, I don't know. Even Brooklyn, right? Is it hard to buy a house in Brooklyn, or is it usually...
House? Yeah, it's less houses. So Queens, Flushing, and further east into Bayside, and then of course into Long Island, you can get a house. What you would think of as like a single detached house from everything else. Brooklyn has a few of those, but a lot of them are also townhouses. Sometimes they're semi-detached as well. So you don't get what is considered in your mind like a suburban house.
We did. I think I asked you. I don't know if I got this on tape, but do you know how to say Flushing in Chinese?
My parents say it not even Mandarin, but Falasing.
Falasing.
Yeah.
I can see the character. I don't know how to read Chinese, but there's characters.
You
right?
can see the character. Is there pinyin?
Yeah, the pinyin is Falasing. Falashan.
Yeah.
Falashan. But yeah, that's what we do. That's really kind of fun. We joked about that a little bit. It's kind of cute. It's kind of cute when they take like San Francisco is San Francisco. They just
yeah. You can hear the actual word inside of it. I think I feel as if Cantonese does that a lot more than Mandarin does. No,
maybe because of Hong Kong. I think Hong Kong had that influence where the English was a dominant language in Hong Kong, so they wanted to have a version of Herngong.
Yeah. Everything. So it was kind of cool just to say the English word, but kind of like with a Chinese accent. It's like how in Japan, there's a lot of English words just masked with in Japanese, right? Like computer is kampudo or something else like that.
Copy, instead of coffee.
Copy is coffee in Korean?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, same thing too, right?
Yeah. All right, so I don't know where we cut out, but so we walk over to the mall, apparently only across the street.
Across the street.
And we go downstairs, and it is, I think we have pictures. So everyone out there, you can go to my Instagram and see pictures of the food. You can see pictures of Lingjie. You can see a picture of Ben. That guy's big, man. We were sitting down. He's still a head taller than me. Sitting down even. Anyway.
Yeah, you're shorter than me, and he's taller than me, so I can only imagine what you felt like standing next to him.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. But so we'll show you pictures. I think I have some pictures of the food court. Hopefully I do. I haven't.
Do you have pictures of all the food, though?
I do have all the food. I don't know if I had all the buildings, but I put Viv in charge of the pictures, so hopefully she got them all.
Okay, perfect. So if you guys are listening and want to follow along with the pictures at least, I know Curtis doesn't have a full video, but you can follow the pictures and see what we're talking about.
Yeah, you definitely should. So we were down in the food court, and we went all the way to the corner, the back right corner.
Yes.
For a shop that specializes in Sheng Bao.
Correct.
Which are Sanjin Bao in Cantonese, which are the pan-fried, kind of a slightly thicker wrapper.
Yes.
Pan-fried xiaolong bao. So it has a little soup inside, maybe not quite as much soup.
Yeah, not as much as dumplings have soup, but they're larger. They're maybe about double or a little bit bigger than double the size of a standard xiaolong bao soup dumpling. And like Curtis said, the dough is a little bit thicker, but there's still a bit of soup in it. Now, what makes it good in my eyes is because the bottom gets very toasted and crispy, while the top still stays a little bit soft and steamy. And as long as you eat them when they're piping hot right out, then you get that gush of soup that comes in, similar to when you have soup dumplings.
It's like a hybrid between a pot sticker and a xiaolong bao.
Yeah, or like a bun, like a smallish bun and like a soup dumpling.
So good. I think it's kind of the king of dumplings. One of my favorite dumplings. And
Same
this
here.
shop,
I think I've said this on your past episode, but that is my favorite type of dumpling.
I think a lot of people, and this shop, that's all they do. I think they just do that one thing.
That's literally all they do. They have 2 giant cast iron pots, and that's the only thing that they make at this entire shop.
Right.
You have to love it when so many places, especially here in Flushing, they really just specialize in 1 or 2 things, and like that's it.
You gotta trust
That's when you know they're doing it right. If they're in business, but they're only making 2 or 3 things, one thing, if they're really, really good, then they've done something correctly.
Yeah. Never trust a restaurant that says, "Oh yeah, Chinese and Japanese food."
Yes. Or you get pho on the side.
Yeah.
And pad thai.
And maybe some satay. Yeah. No trust. No, you want the guy. All he does is satay all day long. You want the meat stick. That's what you do. So this place was super good. I forget how much it was. We got
8 for, I want to say, $10, maybe $8, something like that. It was more expensive than the first Cherng Fun place, but in my eyes, still worth it, because if you get, let's say it's $10 and you get 8 of them, that pretty much is a whole meal right there.
Yeah. Like I said, we tapped out pretty much after this. We were already surrendering. But they were really good. Yeah, they were really good. Super crispy, but not burnt. And then still a little soup inside, and the sesame seeds on top. It was, it was really good. I would be satisfied with just that. If
exactly. Same here too.
If we went all the way to Flushing and that's all I got, I feel like that trip was worth it for sure. So. Yeah.
So that, one of your daughters specifically wanted to eat that, right?
Yeah. She lives for those things. Yeah, that was the picky eater.
Yeah. So did she give it a grade? I forgot if we asked her for her thoughts on it.
I don't think she gave it a grade, but she just loves those things. So the fact that she didn't say anything is probably a good sign.
Okay. Yeah. That's
She's just enjoying it. She's pounding those things. Yeah.
And what was your grade for it?
Again, I mean, there was nothing to not like about it. The price was good, flavor was good. It's ready right there. They got them cooking all day long, right? So they're not. We had to wait maybe 2 minutes total.
Yeah. So you always get them fresh. They're not just cooked and then left in the back somewhere,
sitting under
a light
lamp.
Yeah.
No, they were good and fresh. Yeah, so I give it a high grade. I don't know. I mean, how can you not give it a 9.5 or 10? I mean, they're just delicious. Yeah, they're so good. So and we looked around. We're like, oh man, we want to try all these things because this place had. Like you
so
said,
many food stalls down there. I think we took a walk around, and I was pointing out some of the other things that would be pretty good. So it's too bad that we didn't get to eat even more. Had I known, I would have gotten maybe 1 less or 2 less dishes at the first place, just to save you guys some room.
Yeah. Now you're used to hanging out with your guys who eat a lot. We're small people. We're small people. So I think this is about where the recording picks up. So I'll see if I can splice this in.
Sure. How is this density? Because right now, this is low density crowd on the street.
This is so our busiest streets in Chinatown might be like this.
This right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But This is heavy. This would be heavy.
So this right now it's the morning time, which is not even lunchtime for most people. That's why this is like lighter for us. And the weather is not so great today because it's about to rain.
Yeah, so and it's a Thursday.
And
what are we on Wednesday?
Actually, that actually doesn't matter at all.
Okay.
That doesn't matter at all. Oh, there's a claw machine place around the corner.
Oh.
Literally around the corner.
You want to take a food break or you want to let's get our boba first.
Boba and then go next door. All
right.
So this is Xing Fu Tang. So they make their boba fresh. As you can see, she's making it here right now. So that's the boba stuff. And later the brown sugar gets in there and like gets caramelized.
Nice.
But they're famous for this because they made their own boba.
Yeah. I don't know if we've ever had it. Have you ever had your own boba first? Yeah.
Open at 11, so 3 more minutes. I thought we would walk slower. But
no, we're
3 minutes until they open.
We're enjoying the show. We're watching a lady roll some taro dough. What is it? Taro or? No, it's
tapioca.
Tapioca, yes.
It's tapioca.
I'm thinking taro.
Because it's called tapioca.
Yes.
So it's tapioca flour.
Yes. Well, I'm glad they're honking. This is good for the radio. This is good atmosphere.
Let's move this way so we're not standing in the middle.
All right, stay there, Viv. You're in line.
It's fine. In traditional New York fashion, even if someone tries to cut you, you just cut them right back.
You want one?
No. I'm anti-boba. Okay, so right now we're in the boba shop, but I legit don't drink boba.
I don't drink a lot either.
So we're going to let Curtis and his girls to do the boba ordering. There's not much you can do wrong. I mean, it's good. It's good fresh boba.
I just don't do a lot of sugar. Yeah.
So I was telling Curtis before, there is literally 3 boba shops per block here at minimum.
We can go back outside. We'll let them do their thing. Yeah, there's probably hundreds.
But the question was, how do they all survive every unique boba shop, especially let's say in the winter? For the same reason why there are infinite number of hot pot spots and it's the summertime and they're still busy.
Yeah.
Because
people have cravings.
People have cravings. And when you have this many people, this density of people, and now you add in the tourists that come into Flushing, the other boroughs, or just like yourselves, tourists that come to see that want to stop by, it's good to have a business here, aside from the rent.
Is this where, what percentage of the businesses are on Main Street?
So Main Street is the nickname that we give to the quote-unquote Chinatown part of Flushing, the last stop on the 7 train. The actual Main Street itself, the physical street, is really not everything. It's a good percentage, but like the first couple of restaurants we went to was on Roosevelt, which is a cross-section street where the train is.
Yeah.
But when everyone says go to Main Street, they don't actually mean this street.
Really?
They just mean this area, this general area like Chinatown.
Okay.
Chinatown, I think I've said this a lot on my podcast, it's like a newish term because as kids growing up, we never thought ourselves as a Chinatown. Only the Manhattan OG Chinatown was referred to as a Chinatown. This was just Flushing or AKA Main Street. But since then, given how popular this is, I would even argue that this is a better Chinatown now,
right?
In its current state, at least.
Right, with the density of shops and the newness of the shops, the variety of shops.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of money, an influx of money being poured into here. And a lot of these are like mainland China brands or Taiwanese brands like here that we're at that will open up a chain. So
you want to hear the Wikipedia nickname for this area?
For this area?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Chinese Times Square. I don't know the validity. I gotta check the reference on this.
Yeah, who's the one that?
Probably someone from Manhattan.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right, you ready for another fun fact?
Go for it.
All right, what is the name of this street right here with a K?
Casino.
Casino.
Yes.
Do you want to know?
Is this a person? This I don't even know.
I don't know if you guys found this on Wikipedia.
Okay.
There's a rock band named Kiss.
Yes.
And they are from New York. And the legend goes that they named themselves after this street.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say the street was not named after Kiss.
No,
the band.
the band named themselves after this street.
Is that from their mouths?
I don't know. It's from Wikipedia.
That's a bit of retconning. It's someone that saw that one of the band members or
maybe
all of them grew up here.
Let me check the reference. Maybe they actually are quoting one of the members. I think they're from Flushing though. They
are from Queens. I didn't know it was Flushing.
Okay. So
that might make sense.
There's a chance.
But that also, like I said, it's a lot of retconning. All the facts are created in the future, not when it actually happens. It's one of those things. That would kind of make sense.
I'm gonna give this a 65% chance of being true.
I give it a low 20% chance, especially if you're strictly quoting Wikipedia.
Gene Simmons, email me. Let me know. Let me know if this is a fun fact.
Is he the only surviving member at this point?
I don't know.
Well, he's the only one that's making a scene everywhere where you see him.
You still see him.
Yeah, you still see him around.
All right, let's see. I got some Korean facts.
Korean facts,
I gotta
yes.
save this for Ben, though. I think he's coming.
We can refilm it with Ben.
All right, listeners out there, if you don't know, I haven't even introduced you. We're with Lingjie from the Worst Asian Podcast.
Hola.
Which you've heard on the podcast at least 3 or 4 times by now. Because I had you in some special episodes where we recorded you ahead of time. So we are meeting for the first time in person.
Yes, Curtis flew all the way to New York specifically just to meet me and the slight chance to meet Ben.
Just to do an episode, yeah. And so the other co-host, his name is Ben, who you have also heard on the podcast before a couple times. But I don't know if you've ever followed the Worst Asian Podcast. Ben has a slight track record of either being late or not showing up at all.
He believes time is just a construct of your man. It's just a time struct.
It's a man-made construct. So we were meeting at 10. It is now, what are we at?
It is 11:05.
It's 11:05, which is about when we might expect him to come. An hour.
He hasn't yet texted me, so still asleep.
So Lingjie said the over-under of Ben showing up is maybe 50-50. So
No, I didn't. I said he's not showing up.
It's just zero.
I just straight up said he's not showing up.
Okay, so she's giving Ben a 0% chance of showing up. I'm going to give my guy a 50% chance of showing up. So
very optimistic of you.
Very optimistic. We've been DMing all week. Of course, we always DM like at midnight.
That's his time.
That's prime time.
But that's like late night for you, not too late.
Well, yeah. No, it was midnight when I've been in New York. So
okay.
So New York time, midnight. So I feel like he's coming.
Okay, we'll see. We've gone to a couple places already, but Curtis is, with the magic of post-editing, is going to cut this into the very beginning.
So I'm going to save my Korean facts. If he doesn't show up, we'll record the Korean facts. All right, let's see. I got the last couple facts here. Can you name 2 or 3 famous Asians or internet famous Asians from Flushing?
Internet famous Asians from Flushing? Aquafina is technically, her parents had a restaurant on Northern.
Okay.
So
that's the obvious one. We've talked about her before. But
is she technically from Flushing? I don't think she actually lived in Flushing.
These 3 are from Flushing.
Okay.
And I'm using air quotes to say famous.
I actually don't know.
All right.
And you said they're Asian?
Have you ever heard of Han Hee-jun? Born in 1989.
No.
Could be a classmate of yours.
What does he do? What is he famous for?
He was on American Idol. I don't know what year.
I have no idea who that is. It's not the OG guy from the first year, right?
No. Okay. That guy's from Berkeley, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Have you ever heard of Yul Kwon?
No.
He was the winner of Survivor, like 2007 or something like that, way long time ago.
The number 1 winner?
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Remember that one? He was a tall Korean dude. He's super smart. I think he's a doctor. But he gamed it. He gamed it really well.
Oh.
Yeah. Yul Kwon.
Okay. That is pretty famous.
Yeah, pretty famous. This one I think you will know.
Benon.
Dr. Sandra Lee, better known as Dr. Pimple Popper. You ever watch her?
Is this an internet celebrity?
Yeah.
This I do not know.
She's huge on YouTube, like a couple million followers. She's a dermatologist. And she pops people's pimples.
And that's her shtick.
On YouTube, and it's gross. But people can't take their eyes off of it. She's got millions of views.
You know what? Now that we're thinking about the subject,
we gotta search it?
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of these people. In my mind, I'm hoping that given how popular Flushing is now, that we'll get some larger celebrities that come out of this place, so we can actually have a celebrity from Flushing. Man.
Well, okay, so there actually are some non-Asian celebrities that are really quite well known. So we've got Nancy Reagan, former First Lady. Yeah. And John Williams, famous composer, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, all the songs that you know.
That you've heard but don't know who made it.
Yeah, well, you've heard the name. I've heard the name John Williams. He's like 90-something now.
Is he still working?
I think so.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think he did well, I don't know about the 2020s, but he did the prequel, Phantom Menace.
Oh, the trio.
Not the sequel, the...
Prequel.
No, I messed up. I meant to say he did the Last Jedi and
the
Force
more recent
Awakens.
trio. The more recent trio. Okay.
So that was 2018 or 19.
He must have been late 80s.
So he's up there.
Oh, good for him.
But he did it. Yeah, he did it.
Good for him. That's what keeps you mentally stimulated to live that long.
Yeah.
Because you need something to keep you going.
So everyone says, when are you gonna retire? And everyone's looking forward to that early retirement. I don't know. You gotta have something.
People rot. You gotta do like either some good volunteer work you enjoy, or do something part time.
Yeah, me, I'll own a boba shop. Oh, I'll get that Shenzhen Bao cart. I'll get the Shenzhen Bao machine and roll it out in Golden Gate Park or something.
Just hire the lady that works here.
Yeah,
over
that's all
to
you
West
need.
Coast.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of Asian street food though, huh?
Like here or just in general?
Anywhere in the city, because we've seen a million hot dog carts, a million falafel carts.
So here's the thing: like street carts have kind of like the street cart types of food, which I'm trying to think might have migrated into like a shop,
yeah.
but not in a sit-down shop, but just like a quick shop. So like even next to us right now, and like a couple that we passed by, it would be a physical shop in the building, but they would have a window that pops out to the curbside, and you would just order there. That has kind of taken the place of actual carts outside.
It's kind of more fun to have like an
right. So the only carts you see in Flushing now are skewer carts.
Oh, okay.
Because that requires barbecue, smoking. That's not something that you can do inside of the building.
Got it.
So those are the dominant food carts that you see, which aren't open right now because it's breakfast right now. But later in the day, there'll be at least like 4 or 5 different Chinese skewer carts that pop up outside. So that is, quote unquote, the only cart street food that we have.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a couple $1,000s just to have the permit for that anyway. So you may as well get a storefront. But they're tiny storefronts, so you're not paying a lot for these storefronts. You're not.
But I would imagine you would probably be surprised by how much they pay in rent still.
That's probably 10K.
Maybe, yeah.
For 500 square feet or something.
So you've walked around Flushing a little bit. There's a couple stores that kind of look like they shouldn't be doing well in business. They're the few stores that own the building. So there's like a random flower shop, like around the bend.
They don't have to make a ton of money.
Right. And in theory, that is like their nest egg, right? So if they want
money,
they can sell the building in the future. The family can sell the building and then just bank a lot from it. But in the meantime, they're just using it to have their own business and make like a moderate income.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the thing.
That's what you do. That's the way to do it, people. If you want to open a restaurant or a shop,
play this in the intro.
I'm leaving it. Yeah. I'm gonna try to get some subway noise too. But if you're gonna own a shop, own the building. That's
own the building.
Take-home story.
Own the building. Maybe be non-profitable for 10, 15 years and then hope that they change these zoning laws or something.
Yeah.
Or the whole neighborhood just pops. Because
that'd be fun though. If you inherited a bunch of money and you could buy a little building, make money on rent, and then just have whatever fun shop you want.
You would always have to buy in a neighborhood that doesn't seem like it's doing anything. Because as a person that worked in real estate, my ownership group bought in Park Slope, which is a very nice part of Brooklyn now, but they bought into it 30, 40 years ago when it was like very ghetto, it was too whatever, right? So at that time, no one wanted to buy it. So it didn't make any sense. Same thing too. I imagine these people who bought here back then was like, no one wants to buy this building, this area.
So you got to find the most ghetto neighborhood that has potential.
And,
like on the subway.
Yes. And like predict it's going to gentrify some point in the future. Unfortunately, that's kind of like how the real estate game works.
That's how the game works.
Long term, at least.
Now, generations of immigrants have made money off of restaurants, though. Probably almost every Asian family that I know has some connection to a restaurant sometime 100%. In their timeline.
Themselves working.
Either working, owning, cooking.
Close family member working, something like that, yep.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to the restaurant business is tough, but the barrier of entry is low.
With language abilities, you don't have to have that.
Not to say that it's a non-skilled job, but there's not as much like required to start one up.
Yeah. And it's almost like a franchise too, because let's say you open a Shaolin Bao place, it's almost like people know you don't have to pay for advertising that much because people know what it is.
Right, exactly.
It's like you're a Shaolin Bao franchise at that point.
And what happens a lot is people will work in a certain restaurant, either of a family member or a friend or whatever, and learn that business, learn that particular niche of cuisine, and then just take the ideas, open up their own. And there's no hostility because everyone does it. Like they know that you're here to work a couple years and maybe you open up your own place in somewhere else down the line, right?
That was Ted Noy with the Cambodian Donuts in LA.
Yeah.
He did that and he charged them a little money for the
in
startup.
The beginning.
Yeah, so he made his money off of that, but he wasn't trying to rip them off or anything. He was trying to get them started.
Right.
So
and now, is there anywhere in Flushing that you've looked at that you want to try?
No, I didn't. I did zero research.
Oh.
I did zero research. So
who's the planner? You with Viv?
Well, no, I'm the planner, but for this trip, I'm just defaulting to you.
Oh, okay.
I've been planning the whole trip otherwise, but I said, you know what? Wednesday lunch, taken care of.
All right, fine. Good. Figure it out. No food allergies, which is good.
Nah, yeah, because honestly, if you just look up, it's almost overwhelming, right?
It's too much.
So you've got 35 years of research. I default to your years of street experience.
Good.
Boots on the ground.
And generally speaking, I eat everything, so I've tried most everything. Like I have no food allergies, I have no preferences. Although, can you guess the one dish that I do not like? It's a very popular Chinese dish.
Oh, I might know this. You might have told me before.
The one Asian dish that I don't like.
Okay, yeah, let me think.
It's a poultry dish.
Oh, is it the boiled chicken thing?
Hainan chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like anything that's very similar to that.
Kind of slimy skin. Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I like hot food. Like I like warm food. Well, you do.
That's the one thing. Let's walk over to the club machine shop.
All right.
It's right around the corner. It's literally right over here.
Oh, literally.
Do you guys have any? What's the plan for the afternoon or the evening?
Nothing. Well, we got dinner at 5:30, but
Okay,
we're good.
that's good.
We're gonna stay here until Ben shows up.
When Ben takes the train to his work shift, maybe you'll see him passing by.
That's what he said. He goes, "Hey, come by the club."
So this place, this is not anywhere famous. As a kid, this was still open. So me and my friends used to come here as a kid all the time. Buy I think at that time it was like $1 for like six dumplings. So it's insanely
Is that
cheap.
really good?
It's only nostalgic
OG.
to me because I went there as a kid. It was very cheap. It's like Quigley's.
Yes.
It's like very cheap. It's like very whatever at the time. So we used to go there all the time. Get like 6 dumplings for like $1. Like drench it in sauce, and like that was kind of like our pseudo lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
Because it was so cheap, and they're still relatively cheap compared to everything else. Yeah.
She loves.
She like the youtiao. Yeah.
Oh, youtiao dipped in anything or just
Nope. just a fried
just
donut.
youtiao by itself?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
work with having with a soy milk.
yes.
So my mom would make the soy milk fresh.
Oh wow.
Buy the into in Chinatown.
Yeah.
What are the main dialect would be Mandarin here right here?
Flushing Main Street is mainly Mandarin. When you were in Chinatown, Manhattan, it's predominantly Cantonese
I hear
because
Canton,
historically more Cantonese people from Guangzhou
And even some Toisan.
Yes. Well, like a lot of people that speak Toisan speak Cantonese or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So that's the case there. But here it's mainly Mandarin. Even back when I was a kid, it was mainly Mandarin. And because of the influx of mainland China businesses, it's obviously Mandarin.
Yeah.
In Flushing.
But you'll hear a little Fujian. You'll hear a little.
Yeah.
Little Windsor.
The supermarkets are all owned by Wenzhou people.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the restaurants are owned by Fujianese people.
Huh.
I always joke like every Viet place is owned by a FJ person.
Or a chichao. Or
Yeah. Where's your family? Yeah. So me and Curtis are inside a. This is Teso-X, which is like a
We've seen this one. Yeah.
Asian
claw game
shop / action figure shop and everything.
AKA just throw your money away shop.
But Curtis said one of his daughters is into claw machines. So
She is.
so this is not even the biggest one. Maybe I'll take you to the bigger one later.
I don't think we
You
need
just
to
walk around.
We don't need to see the bigger one.
How old are your girls now?
14 and 12.
Oh wow, that age.
So high school. And
Just starting high school.
Gonna go to 9th grade, gonna go to 7th grade.
Oh wow. Before you know it, they'll be out of the house.
I know. Yeah, we're talking about that. Each game is 1. And the big ones are 2. That one doesn't work?
$5.
All right. It's your money. Choose wisely. Hey, you want Uncle Lingjie to help you? He's a pro. We're doing Keen's Steakhouse tonight.
It's okay. It's okay.
I know, it's a steak.
It's a steak. It's a steak.
Yeah.
It's a steak.
But I figured, I'm going to do one steakhouse in New York at least.
Why don't you just do Peter Luger's then? That's the touristy steakhouse, and they actually are kind of good.
People say that Keen's is a little more, well, they're both OG, but
Yes.
we wanted to be in the city. And then, they had this lamb, they have this mutton.
Chop?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Keen's is known for that.
yeah,
I might try. They have a small mutton chop.
yeah.
Might try that. So I don't know. Between the two, the people kind of flip flop between the two.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to stay in Manhattan and then try something different.
It's gonna be good too. It's gonna,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
like,
gonna be good.
all the steak shops are gonna be good.
Yeah.
Meat fire, good meat fire. It's like always good.
And so meat fire and $100, and you'll be good.
And that's like before you get the drinks or
I
anything,
know.
right? Once you add that in, then it really goes up there.
So yeah, we don't have really great steakhouses in
Really?
San Francisco. We have a few, but I don't know.
Because you would think like most large cities would have like a good steakhouse, because that seems like an easy business, right?
It is.
Large cities, businesses, clientele, whatever the case might be.
You know what? California is a little different. New York has more old school business lunch and stuff. See, like in San Francisco, the businessmen are more like techies, so they're more like, oh, I want to do vegan, I want to do the California farm to table.
When you go to certain parts of Brooklyn, it's more like that.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the vibe. Brooklyn is more like San Francisco.
Yes.
Manhattan is its own thing.
It's still old.
You got a Pachaco! How much did it cost you? Hey!
I was just telling your dad that's next to impossible. Good.
Wow.
Nice. All right, now you need to test your luck on the Pikachu.
Here.
How much suitcase space do you have?
I know. We've been shopping. All right, you guys ready to pay?
Put it in here.
I'm ready for round 3.
Wait, where we go from? Oh, we'll go to get some fried chicken.
Yeah.
Fried chicken.
And if we see a Youtiao place, we can get a Youtiao.
Youtiao.
Yao Tiu.
I think there's Youtiao across the street. I don't know if they sell straight up Youtiao. I mean, they might. We could go across the street. It's like a breakfast place.
I think your cheap place might have had it right here in the corner. But it looked pretty greasy.
Oh, the one that is next to Xing Fu Tang.
Yeah, the one that you said you used to go to.
Oh, this place here. Oh, they might.
I think I saw some. That's what reminded me of it.
Hey, if it's bad, you can just, I don't know what your policy is on wasting food, but on the vacation, there's no rules. You want to check if they have Youtiao here?
Yeah, let's just walk. Yeah, we're down.
How do you say it in Mandarin?
Youtiao.
So it's
Yo is oil.
and
Oh, yeah.
Tiao is like a
Tiu. Yeah.
it's like a
straight thing.
yeah strip of something, a strip of something. Yeah.
Tiao.
Not
Yeah.
different.
See, I know it in both because
Do they have Youtiao?
I'm just gonna look.
Oh, they do. Wait, this might be because there's a sweet one and then there's a non-sweet one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it. They have it.
You like the non-sweet one, right? Like the salty one? Okay.
Nice and greasy. Just one nudge.
It's like the
Eat a Youtiao.
aesthetic, the vibe, and everything else, right?
Then when I came out of the subway,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. You were not the first person to tell me that. Lots of people that come from the West Coast or wherever, they come here and they say it feels like China. That the noises, the people, and the smell. They say it's a combination of the, like,
I'll give you an
especially here
apple,
in the
so.
summertime.
Wow,
Like the
so
hot,
big.
steamy.
They broke it for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you can throw that later.
Yeah, it's just the smell. Everything.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I guess because I've lived there so much, it's all become background noise and background smells that I don't really notice it until
Smells like
someone,
home, yeah.
Yeah, until someone mentions it.
Right when we got out, I was like, oh my God, this is sweet.
Yeah. How much was the Youtiao?
Like $1 something, but
Oh, yeah, that's cheap. That's so cheap.
That's so rice 99 is a big charge. They charge more, and it doesn't taste good. It doesn't big. Yeah.
There's this like do you guys drink the sweet tofu? Like with
my
is it
grandma
tomiao?
makes it,
I think it's tomiao.
Well, we call it Tofu Fa.
Tofu fa. So there is this flower shop. Or inside the flower shop, there's this old man that makes his own tofu fa.
Wow.
Oh no way!
We can stop by later, and he's been there since I was a kid.
Oh, she likes.
And like,
I love it. It's like my favorite.
Oh.
You know what though? And nobody has ever made it as good as my grandma.
let's go over there right now.
I'm actually curious to
It's 2 blocks.
Right.
It's inside a
Keep it
flower
right here,
shop.
yeah. Lauren,
Yeah.
do you want to try a Jianbing? It's
So then, it's not so good.
it's like that.
Yeah, like I don't want to. I tried.
No,
Okay.
it's not the same.
Yeah. Hey, Lingjie, is this the Jianbing place that you like, or
Which one?
any?
No, Jianping is
Okay, yeah, Lauren will go for that.
Oh, okay. That's like we'll go to the tofu place, and then we'll go a little bit down.
Okay, perfect.
So you ran out of Flushing Facts for me?
Oh, I got a few more. Still hold on to my Korean ones, man.
Nope. I'll get ready for them later. Try and give me a good one.
All right. What famous Chinese American movie, Taiwanese American movie, was filmed in Flushing in 1993?
Okay.
You ever see The
It's a-
Wedding Banquet?
No.
Wedding Banquet was Ang Lee, so the guy,
Okay.
yeah, the famous
Only the
director.
director I know, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So he filmed it at Flushing Sheraton LaGuardia East Hotel.
Which is right here around the corner. It's across the street from where
Yeah.
we're going right now for the tofu.
All right. It's a good film. They're doing a remake of it.
What's the premise? Like, what's the genre of the movie?
So there's a gay guy and this kind of rebellious girl,
Yeah.
and they're getting pressure to get married. And so they say, hey, let's get married to make our parents happy.
Okay.
And so they go through this whole elaborate wedding ceremony
Yeah.
just as a fake marriage. And so I think Bowen Yang is going to be in the new one. I forget
Oh.
who the girl is. But it was fun. It's kind of a fun film.
And they're gonna remake it?
They're remaking it right now, as we speak. I don't know if they're doing it in Flushing.
You know, that would be great if, just as a nod, they actually went to the Sheraton.
Yeah. They'll do something out here, I'm sure. But it's
Big building is a Sheraton.
not. Okay.
This big building is Sheraton. They have a back exit that comes right through right here, and then there's
Yeah.
a front exit on the other side.
So in 1993, it was kind of like almost like a tourist film in a way, like showing like a Chinese wedding ceremony and
like a
all the
banquet
stuff you have to
wedding?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wedding banquet. So literally, like, 40 minutes of the film is this wedding banquet. All the food and all the little games that you do with the bride and groom.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, they've never seen anything like that. So it was kind of a fun little film.
So this is the flower shop.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, they have youtiao here too. I didn't even realize.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
this place has been here since I was a kid. Same exact guy.
Really?
Same exact guy. He's
super
the one
rad.
that makes it. He's the one that sells it. Yeah, the one that's looking at it. You can try small or large.
Oh, just this.
Okay.
You get the plane?
You want to try it here before it like cools down and everything?
Yeah,
Get
you gotta
the
eat
outside Here's your table, pseudo table. Like,
The massage?
Yeah, that's
how is
really,
it?
really good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not as good as your.
You know, it's the same. It's very smooth.
Okay. Because I don't know what a good standard is. Because I just have
Super
this.
smooth, yeah. Steaming hot. So we're eating tofu fa or douhua? They say Mandarin. Douhua?
Douhua.
Yeah.
That's how I say it. But my wife says that can mean something else also.
I don't know. I've heard it.
I always say tofu. The tofu is tofu. It's flour.
It's flour,
It's a
yeah.
tofu flour.
I think for short they say douhua. That's a pretty good portion, eh? It's a big chunk.
$3
Because if you go to a dim sum place, it'll be like a little dish.
for like $4 or $5.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
His syrup is good too.
Did it come out of a bamboo bucket?
No.
Oh, yeah, see, that's what I was telling him. Mine was a wooden bucket.
Yeah.
But I wonder if I was gonna say, can you make it into something else and transfer it? But he can't transfer it because then it will be all like.
I think it's
members
got to
and
be
stuff.
one piece.
Yeah. So he probably makes it in that thing.
It stays in the pot.
Did he have a thin spoon?
Yeah, he did. Like that pot
Sliced
is
it.
like
It's like a giant rice
a
pot.
giant rice pot.
It's like the
Oh, it's the electric version?
Yeah.
it's the rice pots that they would use for like family meals at a Chinese restaurant, like the giant ones. Right?
It's really good.
All right. Why don't you just
What's
eat?
your thoughts on this, Curtis? Or you're not big
That's
on?
good. No, that's good.
I'll try it. I told you, it's really good.
All right, we can keep walking.
No, just take time. No rush, man. Let me see. Okay, they're one block apart in opposite direction. Jianping or Taiwanese fried chicken. I'll let you guys pick.
Let's do the Jianbing because she's not here Yao Tu. So
Youtiao.
she's greased up pretty
greased up.
good. So we'll go with the Jianbing.
Yeah, Jianping.
And then we'll give her some time to get the grease down.
All right, fine. Do you need a coffee? Does Vivian need a coffee, like actual?
Nah, we're good. We're good. She's a tea drinker. All right, you ready for my...
Ready, let's go.
I think I got like two more. What? So one of the measures they do to figure out how healthy a community is they
Okay.
ask how many of you eat at least some kind of fruits or vegetables every day.
Oh, yeah.
What percentage of Flushing residents
Okay, here we go.
eat at least some fruits or vegetables every day?
So you said 69% Asian.
Right?
Of those Asian people, I'm gonna say at least 80% eat, so whatever, I'll just round out to another 50%. And of the other 31%, I'm gonna say minority groups tend to also eat fruit. Maybe I'll take a chunk of that. I'm gonna say 60% of people in Flushing eat fruit.
Oh, you're low, my bad.
Is it?
Yeah, they're
Is it?
95% of Flushing residents eat at least some fruits or vegetable every day. That makes them the healthiest borough, or the healthiest part of New York.
I'm not surprised about that, but I feel
The average of New York City is 87.
that's okay. So
I mean, one piece of fruit or one veg a day.
yeah, but dude, You'll be surprised like how many people just avoid anything natural the entire day, right?
I'm one of them. But...
Given like the fast food diet, easy access to Uber.
But maybe they're counting the lettuce on their smash burger.
Right, I was gonna say. Like the
I
one,
don't know.
like the one tomato that's on something.
And plus,
right?
this is self-reporting, so these people may be lying, but that's not bad though. 95%, at least with some fruit or veg every day.
High. Even for here.
Yeah.
Which means like maybe Manhattan itself, where it's not as Asian, is also probably high, maybe like 70.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it's just very, very low standards.
Yeah.
Very low standards.
So anyway, pat yourself on the back. Healthiest part of New York City. I mean, on that one measure.
Fruit is easy.
Fruit is easy. Yeah, maybe that's it. The Asians don't eat a lot of desserts, so.
Yeah, fruit is easy. I grew up where I had, literally, it was dinner, post-dinner, it was always sit down and eat fruit.
Yeah.
Every single day. Like one of the few places where my parents spent money as a kid was like buying good quality fruit.
Yeah.
So my favorite fruit is a peach. But peaches are notorious for being very seasonal and very expensive. So like when they're in season, they're like $1 to $2 per peach fruit.
Yeah.
And like as a kid, that's
luxury.
That's a luxury because that one peach is like almost 2 racks of bananas.
Right.
So like my parents spent a lot of money on fruits as a kid. That's why like when I had my son, same thing too. Like same habit. It was always dinner and then fruit.
Right.
It was never dinner and like ice cream.
My daughter's a picky eater, right? We're eating fried chicken and fried donuts and stuff, but she will eat fruit.
Yes.
The one
really?
thing.
Okay.
That's the one thing that she eats as healthy. And water.
This is 8 Jian. They do Jianping. They're very, very famous.
Okay.
They're good. Not amazing, but good. They're probably more famous than they are relative to how good they are. So they're still good. So this place back then was not as popular. Like I used to come here, there would be no one waiting. It was still good. And then social media blew it up. And now like every foodie person, when they come to Flushing for like a food tour,
it's got an easy name.
They're like, stop by here. So, yeah.
What are they known for?
They're Jianpings.
It's kind of like that pancake with the egg, and then they put crispy wonton skin stuff in there.
Yeah, so he has like a circular thing, and he'll put like dough in it, and then he'll cook it kind of like a sweet crepe style, like a sweet crepe. But then that is like folded in with a bunch of savory items. There's
green
even
onions,
youtiao inside, egg, some vegetables, whatever. It's similar to the second picture from the right. So something like that. So that's pretty good. And it's like fairly large for how much it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so cheap. I mean, look at the other stuff. It's cheap, right?
I didn't even get that.
You get 2 eggs for $1.50. That's cheap. But you know what's crazy? Like when I go to like a night market, it's more expensive. That's why I don't like going to the night market, because I can go here and get very similar like stuff as a night market, but I'm paying like a fraction of the amount.
Because it's not as trendy.
Night markets are so expensive because they're drawing in people from further away and like purposely like marking up stuff a little bit because they have to pay for their booth or whatever.
All right, so we had, how many things did we have on this trip? We had
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5.
At least 5, because we had the boba.
Yeah.
We had we had a Jianping.
Yeah. Your daughter had a youtiao, the fried dough.
Youtiao. We had the tofu fa. And then
the Cherng Fun and the Sheng Bao. We had a good amount of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we had a good amount. I mean, we were definitely full. We probably could have eaten more if I didn't have reservations at an expensive steakhouse that night. But yeah, no, really fun. It was a good time hanging out too. So yeah, and this is the way to go. You got to go with a local tour guide, I think, or else you're just gonna be winging. I mean, winging it would be okay. I think we would have done fine.
Yeah, I think a few of the spots that we went to today, you probably would have seen had you just skimmed social media and searched Flushing. You probably would have seen the Jianping place. You probably would have seen Joe's steamed rice rolls. Maybe not the tofu place. Maybe not the Sheng Bao place. But the boba spot, Xing Fu Tang, you would have seen that for sure because that place is very, very popular. So even if you don't have a local and you're afraid of just trying stuff, just go there. I would say if you pick a random thing, it's probably going to be decent.
Yeah. Or there's a lot of YouTubes as well.
Yeah.
So you can watch one. But I'll write down the itinerary. I think I have all the names of the places. I don't know the actual walking directions, but I'll put the names and you can Google it. But yeah, having a tour was just super fun. Lingjie is good. Good to have someone walk us around and show us. Are we gonna? Maybe this could be a side business. We'll do Worst Asian Podcast food crawls,
walking tours.
Yeah,
they have some of those. There's a
sure.
business called Flushing Bid, Business Industrial Development. They're like a non-for-profit that works for this neighborhood, and they actually do host like these mini food crawls every couple months or so.
Yeah, I'd imagine. That'd be fun. But so I think we have an outro recorded. But overall, I think we ate some good meals in New York. We spent a lot on food in New York because we're like, hey, we're here, no sense in counting pennies and stuff. So we spent some good money, but we did French, we did steakhouse, we did Italian, we did kind of European style food for another meal. But I would say, and I think the family would agree, one of our top meals, if not our top meal, was the food crawl in Flushing. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And you spent a fraction of the price.
Fraction. Oh my gosh, yeah, like 1/10 the cost of what we spent in Manhattan. But yeah, definitely worth it. Definitely worth the trip out. It's not that far. A couple minutes on the subway and you're there. Get a couple steps in, but you don't even have to walk all that far. In Manhattan, you put in a lot of steps.
We probably walked a 2-block radius at most. You could go 3 blocks and have even more stuff, but we were in like a 2-block radius. And then suddenly at the end of the day, you just ended up in this random giant mall with AC.
Basically, that was our mission. Yeah, my daughter was like, "Can we just sit down and have AC?" And they were fun. Oh, they had Tong Hulu at the end too.
Oh yeah, they did. Which is the sugar crystallized fruit on a stick.
So we had maybe 7 things. We did pretty good.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So that was really fun. Next time you're in the San Francisco, we gotta get you back. I know you didn't have a great experience last time you came out here, but I think we can fix that. I think we can get you some good food out here.
Fine. Next time I'm down there, you can take me on the food crawl. We probably have to drive around, I assume.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, things are definitely more spread out. That is the knock. But
and thank you, Curtis, for taking the time to actually see me. I know the food crawl was the excuse to actually see me, the person.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you got everything you wanted. You got to see me, and you got some amazing food at that.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. So everyone out there, go listen to Worst Asian Podcasts. If you're in Flushing, what is it, $200 a tour? If you want a food crawl tour, give Lingjie a DM, and then he'll give you a nice Flushing food tour. But thanks again, buddy, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.